Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're just plain living here. I'm John Gray.
Good morning, John Gray. I'm Peggy Burton.
That's H'less John.
Yeah.
Happy
what?
end of spring. Summer starts. Supposed to be 80-something here in the next couple of days.
Happy Veterans Month. How's
Veterans
that?
Month. Red, white, and blue.
No, it's I love that you have the flags
We
up.
got some flags out there, and of course Memorial Day's at the end of the
Is that
month.
coming?
There'll be a celebration there, and there's some other things going on. So
Graves will be decorated
yes,
with flags.
it's very nice.
And that is very nice.
To celebrate our military.
I like to compliment all the people that do that, and the
Yes.
Young Scouts do that often, and that's one of their projects. It's a wonderful thing to do. To
It
remember.
is, because going around to all the cemeteries
Yeah.
around here, because they go to Manchester and Shelbyville and all over and put flags out. And, just the expense of the flags.
Just the expense of the flags.
They've been doing it for a long time. So
I hope it will
we
be
thank
remembered.
them for that. Sure do.
I know some fine veterans.
What have you been into?
You know, John, how cool it would be if I got into anything.
You're always into something.
Well, we did have a big meeting at South Jackson last night, and I am proud to say that we are up and running and shows are going on, and that's a good thing.
So,
I do want to mention that Valerie Lawrence has been, today is the last series of a ballroom dance class she's doing, and we're going to skip a week, and then we'll start up again, and there'll be more of that on southjackson.org.
There's there's a big dance club being built in downtown Nashville.
I know, that's a big deal.
So, I forget one of the big stars from Memphis, I can't think of his name right now, is coming in there with somebody else, and this is linen tablecloths, fine dining,
That's
dress
wonderful.
up, old type club entertainment, big band, lounge singers.
I love that.
In dresses.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
And a place where you can go and eat and
dress up and
dance
go and
and
have a
go.
good time,
And
yeah.
I just think it's marvelous.
I did that in the old days, and it would be
we all
nice to
did.
keep it up. Yeah.
We all did.
I think people that come into these ballroom dance classes, it is wonderful exercise. It's a great way to stay trim and have a good time at the same time. And we have our last lesson today of this series at 6 o'clock at South Jackson. I'm not sure which dance she's teaching today, but when she starts again on June 5th, she's going to do tango 1 week, swing 1 week. Each week will be a different dance style.
Does she do the quick step?
Valerie does it all. Can you do the quick step?
No, I'd love to be able to do the quick step.
Well, we're thinking in terms of the ice cream social in July 22nd, because we're going to honor World War II.
Oh,
we're
wonderful.
Doing a lot of stuff that goes with
Well, that brings about.
Have you written something?
Well, this is not new, but it's appropriate.
All right, let's hear it.
The question's been asked so many times, who's going to keep the flag high, up in the wind like our heroes did, to follow as we watched it fly? As they pass along in the midst of the song, someone must finish the rhythm and rhyme. The lessons they taught and the battles they fought have fitted you for the shoes left behind. The shoes left behind, wearing the shoes left behind, being a torch in the night. How can we ever measure up and match the blazing light that their legacy left for you to see, knowing that you would find in the memories all that you need to wear the shoes left behind? At times they loom so large, sometimes the pressure squeezed tight, but the more you walk the road they trod, the more the fit feels right. As hard as it seems, follow your dreams. You're one of the one of a kind. Embrace the morn, because you were born to wear the shoes left behind. Wearing the shoes left behind, being a torch in the night, how can we ever measure up and match the blazing light that their legacy left for us to see, knowing that we would find in the memories all that we need to wear the shoes left behind? So embrace this morn, because you were born to wear the shoes left behind.
That's nice, John.
So,
my brother-in-law was shot, blasted in Normandy. Spent 2 years in a hospital rehabbing and being sewed up because his whole face had been blown off and other things. And I hope we never forget the horror, the treacherous things that soldiers, all soldiers, have gone through to bring us to where we are.
and how it affected the world. Fran has always been a great Downton Abbey fan.
Yeah.
And so we have been watching Downton Abbey. I never watched it, so she's leading me through Downton Abbey.
It's interesting. I don't watch it much.
We just finished the part where World War I was fought.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely devastating.
Of course.
I mean, it changed the world, and things were different forevermore after World War I.
It changed the way people lived in Britain, and that's
certainly.
Downton Abbey.
Well, it turned into a hospital.
Right. A lot of places
and the young daughters who were involved had always had someone bathing their backside.
Yeah.
Were bathing soldiers.
Right.
And it changed their lives.
I brought a new understanding.
About
compassion.
Interesting.
And empathy.
Interesting. I have a little book right here that my sister Candy gave me, and she always finds me the greatest little books. This is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse.
The Mole, the Fox, and the
Horse. And it's by Charlie McKenny. And it just has some delightful little drawings in it, but it's about life. And the little boy starts walking, and he's by himself, and he runs across a mole, then he runs across a fox, then he runs across a horse. And they all team up.
And they learn. What is the outcome?
And they learn. And this is something that part of the book, we don't know about tomorrow, said the horse. All we need is to know that we love each other.
Well, that's a good statement.
When the dark clouds come, keep going. When the big things fall out of control, focus on what you love right under your nose.
Sweet.
This storm will pass. After the storm, sometimes after the storm, I missed a page. We have such a long way to go, sighed the boy. Yes, but look how far you've come, said the horse. Sometimes I want to say I love you all, said the mole, but I find it difficult. You do, said the boy. Yes, so I say something like, I'm glad we are all here. Okay, said the boy. I'm glad we're all here. We are so glad you are here too.
That's sweet.
What's your best discovery? Asked the mole. The boy said, that I'm enough as I am.
That says it all right there.
That says it all right there.
So many people,
I'm enough as I am.
So many people don't seem to know what enough is.
Right,
and each person is enough just the way they are, and they need to be accepted.
So it's a delightful little book, and it's in his writing.
That's
and
sweet.
It has his illustrations are very simple but very beautiful. And the whole thing is
awesome.
You are enough.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Don't strive for something that someone else might have that you think you need, because no matter what house they live in or car they drive, they've got problems and issues just like
everybody
we do.
Else. That's true.
There's no perfect anybody or anything.
Just like Downton Abbey.
Yeah, just like Downton Abbey.
The same kind of problems.
Speaking about Downton Abbey, there's going to be an open house and ribbon cutting at Parkview, the new Senior Center.
What day is that?
And that is going to be this Thursday, the 20th at 2 p.m. There'll be snacks, music, and door prizes.
Great.
So run by over there, and there'll be a tour through. It's an exceptional place. And if you hadn't had a chance to go through it, just take a little trip over there.
Very nice.
It'll be good. So, do you like spring vegetables?
I love vegetables. Spring vegetables, fall vegetables,
Any
you
vegetables.
name it. I eat a lot of vegetables.
I saw a thing on television yesterday about a woman making a stew, and they were saying, well, it's too warm to have stew. And she said, no, this is a vegetable stew.
It's never too warm for
And
vegetables.
she cut up all kinds of vegetables and put stuff in there, and then something to be served cold, which reminded me of a piece I wrote. This is called Royal Salad. King of the realm, Lord Head of Lettuce, invites you to the palace at Garden to join him and his family for the annual springtime event, the Royal Salad. In attendance will be Prince Thomas Arthur of Tow, known as Tom A. Tow, is what his nickname is. Yes. Princess Olive of Oil, Prince Targan of Vinegar, Princess Parsnip, the Prince Royal of Radish, the Earl of Egg, the Earl of Onion, Duke Dill of Weed, the Duchess of Damask, the Count of Carrot, Count Q de Cumber, Viscount Zoo of Keeney, Viscount Mush of Room, the Countess Colby of Cheese, the Countess of Crouton, the Royal Barrister from Beet, the King's Musketeers, Sir Bit of Bacon, Sir Pine of Nut, Sir Raisin of Gold, Sir Poppy of Seed, Sir Sprout of Bean, and Lady Sprinkle of Spice. Please join Lord of Lettuce for this year's annual Royal Salad.
It had it all, didn't it?
Had it all.
How long did it take you to come up with it?
I don't know. Crazy.
Lord
It's
of
all
Lettuce.
crazy and it's all fun because I'm enough. We'll be back after these messages.
What does caring look like? This is what caring looks like.
This is setting an example for others.
This is rising to the challenge.
This is doing what works.
This is doing my part.
This is doing your part.
Each of us individually.
Acting as one.
Keeping your distance, no matter how awkward it may seem.
This is wearing a mask.
Over your nose and mouth.
Like we are.
Keeping our distance.
Each wearing masks.
Not under your chin.
Not above your head. Not in your hand.
But over your nose and mouth.
This is listening to the expert. If you'll just
Wear one of these.
Caring makes community.
And this is what caring looks like.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
Until COVID-19 is no longer a threat.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental health care needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this past weekend was graduation at Tullahoma High School. It was done as last year, a little bit differently because of COVID, and it was interesting, it was great, and we had some wonderful young people finish their high school career and ready as better than any other school could make them to venture into the future. And we're going to have the principal, Mr. Jason Quick, with his remarks right now.
Over the course of this school year, one statement has been made to me more than any other. Wow, what a crazy year to start your tenure as principal at THS. This pandemic sure has made this year tough, huh? Every time I've always responded with, this has been the most outstanding year I have ever experienced. When they look at me perplexed, I then go on to tell them about the outstanding group of young men and women making up this extraordinary class of 2021. Over the past 18 months, your class has endured the most unique set of circumstances and challenges ever experienced by your generation and mine. The pandemic changed most every norm that we have accepted to being common. Yet you have embraced a new style of learning and a new style of living. And you had two choices: either adjust and adapt or resist and decline. And not surprisingly, you chose to thrive. As the pandemic progressed, the most common phrase heard around the world was, "I just want everything to be back to normal like it used to be." Class of 2021, I'm here to tell you, things will never be the same as before, and that includes you. There are many words to describe your class. Normal's not going to be one of them. Take that however you want. As I finally think of you over the coming years, many words are going to come to mind. Determined, courageous, resilient. Without a doubt, these accurately describe you and your approach to the last 18 months. However, the most accurate word to describe the class of 2021 will cause me to think of you each and every day. That word is grit. Now, Webster's Dictionary lists two separate definitions for the word grit. The first is firmness of mind or spirit, unyielding in the face of hardship or danger. That describes you to a T. But that's not the way I'm looking at it. The second meaning is what I'm thinking of when I think of you. The structure of a stone that adapts to grinding. So how is this the one I chose for you? It's simple. Located a few hundred yards behind you, a boulder weighing over 20 tons was placed in the south entrance roundabout earlier this year. This stone will remind me of you every single day when I pull onto campus. It is strong, it is durable, it is unwavering, it is unshakable, and most importantly, it is well grounded, just like the class of 2021. Affectionately known as Red Rock, this stone has been used to paint messages for various activities, including homecoming and prom. Once the current event has occurred, the former message is painted over and replaced with a new one. Currently, the message reads, Class of 2021. And your signatures have been placed on there with a little white pen. Tonight I want to tell you to the class of 2021, this sign and your signatures on that rock will sometime soon be removed in favor of a new sign for the next school year and next class of students. But hang on, don't be mistaken. Listen to me. While the paint may be removed, your impact on the class of 2021 will forever be etched in the history of Tullahoma High School and serve as a glowing example to the classes that follow you. You, my friends, have set the standard for determination, courage, trust, and grit that will lead our school to greater heights, thanks to you. On behalf of my fellow educators, thank you for making us better at our craft. So, have any of you figured out the significance of the number 13514 and its extreme importance to me? No, it's not the combination to a locked vault or a portion of a winning lottery ticket. It is far more valuable than that to me. You see, 13,514 days ago, an 18-year-old man was sitting on the 14th row on this field. He had just completed his senior year and was ready to get on with the rest of his life. And, as has been experienced by most everybody in this audience, the unexpected twists and turns in life over the next 37 years proved to provide him with challenging, life-changing moments, too many to count. Tonight is one of the most significant of his extraordinary moments in life. Never in a million years could he, nor anyone who knew him growing up, have seen him standing before you tonight in this role. Yet here I am. So, why will I... So, why will I remember the class of 21 so fondly and vividly? It's simple. You are the class that has allowed my life to come full circle. And for that, I will be ever thankful. And one more thing. For those that say you can never go home again, obviously, they've never lived in Tullahoma, Tennessee.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me at Life Care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good, nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we just saw our principal of Tullahoma High School give a little talk at graduation, and now we have Katrine Stevens here, our director of city schools.
Yes.
And I'm so glad to have you here. And you just made a statement. We started the year together, and now we're ending the year together.
Can you believe
Why
it?
didn't we get together in between?
Well, you didn't invite me.
Well, we did. We did at football games.
Yes,
and
we
stuff
did
like
connect
that.
at football games. That's
we've kept
true.
in contact with
Yes, and the veteran celebration. We saw each other there.
Yeah.
So we've kept up with each other throughout the year.
That's right.
You're always a delight, and I appreciate that.
Well, so are you. So are you.
Thank you.
And what she's going to talk about today is, we have done, as I said earlier, we have done extremely well during one of the roughest times our country has had in years and years and years.
Yes.
Our school system has flourished, and we are taking Dr. English and moving him into the Old West facility.
Correct.
To create virtual school.
That's right.
But the governor said the other day that we don't need virtual school anymore.
Yes,
and
that's
you're
right.
here to explain the difference of walking out of the past, which is what he's wanting us to do, but what we're wanting to do is walk into the future.
That's exactly right.
So
That's exactly
the stage,
right.
my dear, is yours.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I love being here, and I will come anytime. I love talking with you, and I love talking about all things education even other topics. Who knows what we could talk about.
But you don't need to wait to be invited. Anytime you
Fair
have
enough.
information that you want to share,
The door
let us
is
help
open.
you do that.
Okay,
There
very
will
good.
always be a space for you to come on here.
Thank you.
And if you have something you go, oh, how am I going to get this out? Well, this is one of the ways you can get it out.
Terrific.
Shoot an email over and say, hey, I need to be on tomorrow. You will be.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll take you up on it.
I promise.
You heard it here.
The stage, my dear, is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, first I want to talk about what Governor Lee spoke of recently, which relates to virtual learning as we are doing it now.
Right.
So currently we're functioning under a state of emergency because we're in a global pandemic, right? So this is all related to COVID-19, and what his state of emergency did, it allowed all school districts to offer virtual options to students. Currently, and previously, there have been state board rules and regulations around virtual program and virtual school before this pandemic ever hit.
Right.
But what he did was allow any district to step into the space immediately in response to this pandemic. Right. That is what he was conveying to the public is finished, if you will. And what I mean by that is going forward into next school year, there will not be this statewide emergency. We will not be under that rule. So what Tullahoma City Schools wants to do, and we've been discussing this throughout this year, and I would venture to say that Tullahoma City Schools, as well as other districts, have been exploring and thinking about the virtual space. Right. We have districts nearby, Lincoln County, Warren County, there's one further, Putnam County, who have been in this space for a while prior to this school year. Now, as a result of this experience, and in conjunction with our school board and leadership team, we really see, as we forecast 5 years, as we think about a strategic plan, that virtual learning or a virtual academy is in our sights, and it is being progressive and innovative. It is entering into that space differently than how we did last year. So you might wonder, well, how will it be different? Well, first of all, we have strategized what grade groups we're going to begin with. So next year's virtual students will be high school students only. That's your rising 9th through 12th graders. Right. What we found this year at our current high school, about 25% of those students participated in virtual learning throughout the school year. What we saw as a district, 15% participated in virtual learning. So you can see that the high school was certainly an anomaly as a campus in terms of its involvement. What we realized related to student maturation, their ability to self-regulate, this might be a great opportunity, a time for students to potentially engage in virtual learning at the high school level. Well, before doing that, we certainly have to make sure we are compliant with state board rules and regulations related to either virtual program or virtual school. Those are two different things, by the way. So virtual program is for students who actually retain their involvement in Tullahoma High School. That means they're a Tullahoma High School student, but they may have a course or two that's virtual. So they're still a Tullahoma High School student, but they're engaged in a virtual program. A virtual school is where a significant number of courses are offered and or taken by a student, and that constitutes school level. If you have a significant number of virtual courses, you have to be enrolled in a virtual school. Well, we are in the midst of applying for that virtual school number. This evening at our school board meeting, our school board will review the application and we'll vote to either approve it to go forward so that we can apply or not. If they approve it, tomorrow we will submit that application to the state. If that is approved, which I suspect it will be, it's a lengthy application. We've done a really sound job of responding to all the questions. Right. I believe they will approve it, and then that school, the Tullahoma Virtual Academy, will literally have its own school ID number. It becomes its own school in virtual space. Now, you mentioned Dr. English being our virtual director, right, and he is going to be amazing. He was the virtual director this year at the high school, so he was engaged in the process throughout the year. But something unique about Dr. English is he always was engaged and interested in technology, how to weave that into his work, whether that was in a teaching role or a leader role. Right. So he will be excellent. So he is now working with families along the lines of what is the pathway best for you. At the Old West building where he will be, we will be establishing a virtual cafe. It will be a location for our virtual students to come in. They will have access to equipment and printers, obviously internet. It will also be an opportunity for them to continue to stay connected with people, be it peers or teachers. In the way that we believe connection, relationships are critical to a student's growth and development. We really believe it's critical for all people, as you can imagine. So we want our students to remain engaged with people. So we will have virtual program. We will have virtual school. Within the options, so if we have a school, they can have full-time courses. If we have a program, they can have some courses on-site and virtual. We also are offering something for our full-time high school students if they wish to take one course outside of the school day to free up their schedule, to explore more opportunities at the high school. They can do that as well. So we actually have 3 different options that we will be rolling out.
Okay, Acorns, did you get all of that? I'm going to simplify it for you. During COVID, the governor allowed virtual school and the state in any way you could get it out there because there was no other way. Well, a lot of the virtual schooling that was done during that time probably didn't really come up to what needs to happen. That's the virtual schooling that is being canceled. Now, to virtual school, you have to meet some requirements.
That's true.
The trouble's gone, basically. Now we're going back to how do we do this and do it appropriately?
Correct.
And equal the education that you get in the building.
That's right.
A tough thing.
Yes, and we are starting small.
I'm very, very pro interaction with people live.
Yes, yes.
If these young people don't know how to read faces, eyes, smiles,
That's right.
twitches, they're not going to be able to function in society.
Yes.
They've got to have that.
Yeah.
But what we're doing, you watch television and every 4th or 5th ad is a virtual college. So we are preparing our young people to a virtual education all the way through their doctorate, maybe.
It's very
which
true.
has never existed before.
Correct.
So as we normally do, we are making sure that Tullahoma students are the most prepared to take any path they choose when they walk out the door.
That's right. That's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting. When I started my doctorate well over 10 years ago, I had a virtual course, fully virtual, as one of my courses every semester. And some courses were hybrid oriented, where it would be in person and online as well. And I remember thinking, I'm a people person, I'm a talker, how will this work for me? And I found that I enjoyed the opportunity of self-pace. So I could get ahead, I could continue moving. I also liked the opportunity for me to slow down when I needed to maybe rewind and rewatch something and consider it a bit more deeply, that I had the latitude to do those things.
Right.
I also appreciated the conversation through discussion boards and posts that were almost without a face, that were just very open thoughts, intriguing thoughts, maybe even challenging thoughts, and I liked that discourse that happened. So I certainly opened my mind up to what was beneficial within that online option, and I experienced how it could be very engaging, very thought-provoking, and very rigorous all at the same time. In our situation, we desire for our teachers to teach these courses that we offer. So there are districts that may have a program that they use, which I certainly respect. That is an option that can be utilized, and I'm certain be done very well. We have opted to commit to our students and families our teachers who we know perform at a very high level. Obviously, this year they were thrust into how to engage and how to make learning come alive. And I'll tell you, there were pockets of excellence sprinkled throughout this entire district immediately. And by the end of the year, it became second nature in so many of the classrooms that I entered. So our teachers are certainly ready to explore this next step, and they will be recruited and volunteer to be a part of this effort. The first thing, of course, that we have to do is get our students, and we do not desire to start large. We are looking at 30 to 50 that are receiving some form of virtual learning, be it that one course, the flex option, or the full time. And that way we can find who are the teachers that we need to engage into teaching classes. So we have to know what classes are being taken and go from there. Dr. English did a great meeting last week with parents. He had some join via Zoom and some come live. Wonderful model for how to engage both groups, and answered some great questions around what this might look like. Obviously, we're stepping into it slowly because we want to do it well. We want to collect data, see how we're performing, how students are doing, what the needs are, and continue to build a very strong program.
What I find interesting about this is we as a society have been running education to a test for a long time. And that test happens in so many days. Mm-hmm. And some brilliant people take more than 10 days to learn something. It might take them, or absorb it in the way they learn.
Correct.
Might be a 15-day period.
Correct.
This allows that to happen.
That's exactly right.
It allows them to go back. I know I'm a pretty avid reader, and I'll be reading a book that's a technical book, and all of a sudden I'll get to the end of a chapter and I'll go, wait a minute, I really didn't understand that as well as I needed to.
Yes, I have done that as well.
Let's go back to page 286.
Yes.
And catch the last 20 pages again.
Right.
So that this allows our students, as you said, to learn at their own pace, because not everybody learns at the same pace.
Exactly.
We are in the business of educating children.
Yes.
And adults.
Yes.
And making better citizens out of them.
Absolutely.
Not seeing what their grade can be on a test in 10 days.
Absolutely.
And this reinforces that to me.
It certainly does. And you are talking about self-regulation right there in your example. I got to the end. I realized, wait a minute, I haven't gotten what I
couldn't pass that test.
Absolutely.
I don't know that question.
Absolutely. In looking at the student applications, so there are students currently applying right now to be considered, and there are requirements, as you stated, to be considered for this. And there is, by the way, an interview as well. So once these students complete an application, Dr. English and Ms. Fanning, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, will be interviewing students and parents. We really want to make sure this is the best fit for those students.
That's
so
great.
In looking at applications, just as recent as last night, because it's very much of interest to me, there were students saying that as a result of virtual learning, this is the first time I've made all A's. And they've talked about the ability to focus, the lack of distractions that might get in their way.
Paper wads.
You got it.
No ponytails in the inkwell.
There you go. And self-pace has come up repeatedly in these applications, because we are asking as a part of the application for the student to relay what is the reason that this is the learning option that is best for you as a student. How do you perceive this to be the right fit in whatever it is, be it flex, full, or just one course?
You know, and one more thing I want to bring in before we go is that this also allows a student to be, if needed, more involved in the success of their family, because they might have a younger sibling that mom and dad both need to go to work, and this teenager is better serving the family to take care of that child during the day and study in the afternoon. So it's not you have to be here at 8:30 and you have to leave at 3:30. Deal.
Well, that is true. That is true. Because these courses are asynchronous, meaning a child does them on their own, not at a given time every single day, that flexibility does allow for the time to be adjusted.
Adjusted, yeah. Very good.
It's very true.
Dr. Stevens, thank you so much for being here.
I love being here.
I love it when you come. And if you've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, when this lovely, educated lady discusses things with you, she does it with her arms open. And that's the way I perceived her from the moment I met her. It's not a closed door. It's an open heart and a great big mind. So we're so glad and proud to have her in our community. Dear,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and know you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck, too.
All right, thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages.
Clayton's has been Tullahoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hello everyone, I'm John Rickman. And this is Pat Welch and John. We're here for segment 77.
Great.
The conversation
Great.
with John and Pat.
Great. Pete Seeger originally sang this song. Peter, Paul, and Mary had it out. And this sort of goes along with the segment because there were protest songs and such as that back in the 60s. And we're going to be talking about the
It's pretty well recognized as the #1 folk song.
If I had a hammer.
Pete Seeger.
Pete Seeger?
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, to tell you the truth. I heard this first from Peter, Paul, and Mary. Didn't realize he originally had it out. And I don't know much about Pete Seeger, but I know he's authentic.
Yeah.
You know,
if
that's
you
what
YouTube some of those Kingston Trio
you can.
and Peter, Paul, and Mary, those they're almost inevitably at some point those kind of musicians or artists mention him.
This is quick chord.
You can do it, John.
Chord formation. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer at danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. It's song of danger, it's song of freedom, it's song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I've got a hammer and I've got a bell, I've got a song to sing all over this world. It's a song of justice, it's a song of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh. It's a song of justice. It's a bell of freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Woo! Poorly done, but I got through it.
That was good, John.
There's a lot of words, and they come at you fast, Pat.
And with meaning.
Yeah, good song.
Meaning.
Good song. We're going to talk about the Vietnam Draft Lottery. This occurred, I'll get to that year in just a minute, but many lives back in the 60s were put on hold because of uncertainty about the future. And marriage had to be stopped or not planned. Schooling, long-term employment, all unknown for men of draft age back at that time. On December 1st, 1969, the United States held its first draft lottery, which gave young men a random number corresponding to their birthdays. Men with lower numbers were called first and told to report to induction centers where they could be ordered into active duty and possibly sent to the Vietnam War. This was something that was done on TV, and my brother said he remembers sitting in the dorm room and in a area where all the students met, and they would watch the TV, and when a number was...
Our friend Joe Lester said that he was at UT at the time and really active in his fraternity. He said the fraternity houses it'd be solemn night. They'd be there with the TV on, and some of them, he said, when if their number was drawn real early, they'd just get up and leave, just despondent, and it was
that's
tough,
what my brother
time.
Had told me the same thing. I was married when this occurred, so it was it didn't affect me so much. The first number drawn was September 14th. This means men born in the year of 1944 to 1950, with a birth date of September 14, received first priority for call to duty. The draft lottery...
What year was that, the first time?
69. December 1st, 1969. It was a method of selection that made choosing appear more fair, because there had been outcries of maybe it not being fair. The Vietnam conflict and war was not popular for much of America. There were many protests and demonstrations throughout the country. The draft lottery was held at Selective Service National Headquarters in Washington. 366 blue plastic capsules, each containing one date of the calendar year, including a leap year date. The capsules were drawn out and opened one by one and assigned sequentially to rising numbers. The last date drawn was June 8th, so that person probably felt pretty good about their...
Well, about number 300, people started feeling relieved.
I think I read it never really got above 168, but I might be wrong on that. But the highest draft number called for induction from 1969 lottery was, there it is, 195. So those selected 196 through 366 did not get called at all. I knew I'd read that somewhere. There were lotteries in 1970 for men born in 1951. In 71, there was a drawing for men born in the year of 1952. And in 1972, there was a drawing for men that were born in 1953. But those that were born in 53 were not drafted due to the abolition of the draft.
The numbers were pulled.
Yes.
They just didn't. They ended up not drafting them. So what birth year was it? It was the first not to be drawn.
Not to be drawn, that would have been 1954, I suppose.
And I was born in February 4th of 54. And I have had a really hard time with the whole deal ever since. Because, I had friends who are a little bit older, and we got friends a little bit older than me now that served. And what if I'd been born 6 weeks earlier?
Yeah.
I'd been in that, and I can't go to a Vietnam movie without being guilt-ridden. You know,
I think we are happy there is a volunteer service now without having to do this.
Right.
Of course, our weaponry is much more sophisticated than it was back then. Pat, you were born in your date. I won't give it out because somebody might look up your Social Security number and get all your money.
Yeah, you always want a return on your time and investments. So there wouldn't be a lot of return
but
on that.
But you would have been 210.
If I'd been drawn in 53?
Yeah, and 69.
Yeah.
But you know, it didn't affect you at that time. My number was 305, if my date corresponded with that. Chris, my son, 77. Mark, my other son, 22. The lower the number, the more concerned a parent would become also, because parents didn't want their child to be injured or killed out there.
John, can you remember registering?
Yes. I went to be examined, and I was turned down. We met somewhere in Nashville, and everybody undressed. I mean, it was a humbling experience standing there with about 150. I don't know how many people there were.
Now, did you register at Lewisburg? Where was the closest
we registered
federal?
In Lewisburg because that's where each county had a selective service representative.
See, I had a card, and I had to go to Winchester. There's a federal building there in Winchester, just off the square, and I went there to register. I never will forget that.
Yeah.
You know, one of the identifications they wanted was scars. They went all over me, and I had a cut on my left fore.
So they detected that.
And that was on the card.
But, you know, you have to have so much respect for those people who served in Vietnam or served in the military in any way. But those men that served in Vietnam...
And they served at a time when they came home. They were treated with disgrace. It was just an awful time.
The withdrawal of American troops in Vietnam with the Paris Peace Accords was January 27, 1973, and the Vietnam War ended fully April 30th, 1975. Casualties from the Vietnam War, over 58,000. Wounded,
we talked about
153,000, and almost 2,000 missing in action. The Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong had over 1 million killed in action. It is estimated that between 2 and 4 million of Vietnamese civilians were killed during the conflict. Now, just, you know, I had a picture of my friend Phil Jones to show, but there were some others that we didn't get, so we only had Phil's. I'm not going to show his just by himself. He's a good fellow, and I don't want to have him stand out that way. But you also said Mike Green served in Vietnam.
He was, I believe, was in the Navy and was a medic.
Malin Hill, my friend, was in the Navy, and there are just so many that we won't be able to mention them all. There were 2 fellows from Chapel Hill who passed away in action, Johnny Sherfield and a Carl Gilbert, and I'm sure there were many from here that they gave their lives in Coffee County. So we just take our hats off to those folks that served in Vietnam, and in fact in any part of the military.
And I'm so glad now that our country is a little bit more appreciative of those people's service, and they don't have to hide that fact. I had my mother's brother served in the Marines, and 2 tours of helicopter duty, which is not good. The survival chances are not really good on 1 trip. He ended up making 2. I had a cousin on my father's side that was in the Tet Offensive and was wounded in that, and it was just a really, really tough time. The cousin that was wounded, his father, I mean, he was just almost in agony the whole time he was there, just so fearful that he was going to get the bad news. It was a really tough time, and one that's hard on me. What about me allowed me to escape that by 6 weeks or 8 weeks?
You know,
there's
some feelings of guilt because you didn't go.
Yeah.
I had friends to go, and then me not being turned down for something wrong with me that didn't, it still makes you feel a little guilty.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That wraps up segment 77, but we hope we can come back because we have got the stories. Thank you all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Now open in Tullahoma, Parkview Senior Living, an affordable, luxurious retirement community that active seniors love to call home. We encourage a healthy, independent lifestyle with few restrictions. Abundant amenities mean you live burden-free in a beautiful, safe home with other like-minded seniors. Still enjoy friends and family, along with your supplemental healthcare needs. See for yourself how wonderful retirement can be. Tour Parkview Senior Living today.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Hello, I'm Ray Noas, and as mayor of Tullahoma, I'm strongly urging all of our citizens to follow the guidelines of CDC in helping control this virus, COVID-19. But I'm especially advising all of us to wear face coverings or masks anytime we're in a social setting where we can't maintain a distance of 6 feet or more. So be kind to your neighbor. Wear your mask.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
You're going to be so glad you came back for this session. We're going to talk mules and bluegrass, right?
That's right.
I've got Marty Gordon here in charge of a festival coming up, and Erica Morano, and she's with Horseplay, one of the recipients of his big endeavor.
Right.
Let's tell them about it.
Okay. Well, it's 5 nights, 5 days.
I like that. 5 nights, 5 days,
right.
5 charities.
September the 13th through September the 18th.
Coming soon.
5 bluegrass bands, 5 mule shows, and we have 5 charities we're going to split the profits with.
I think that's amazing.
So Horseplay is one of them here today, and I'm glad to have Erica here with me. She's a rep for Horseplay, and
Horseplay does such
she'll be
good.
highlighted on Thursday night with Rhonda Vincent.
Oh, good.
That's the big night, Thursday night.
Rhonda Vincent will be doing this program on the opening of your show. Is that
Thursday
correct?
night.
Thursday
we have
night.
gospel night on Wednesday night, but Rhonda will be there on Thursday night.
Thursday night, and the tickets are $45, and I'm going to guarantee you ought to get them right away because they might be going up, right?
Well, they may be sold out. Right now, the tickets are selling out fast, and we really expect, and Rhonda has sold every event out so far since January 1 this year.
That's amazing.
Sold them out. And we expect her to do the same for our event.
If you don't know who Rhonda Vincent is, she's tops in bluegrass.
She's the queen of bluegrass, and she's also been into the Grand Ole Opry, inducted into the Grand Ole Opry. So she plays there once a month, just about, at the Grand Ole Opry. She sold it out the last 2 nights that she played.
You just got out there and found the best, didn't you?
I did. We did. We were fortunate to find Rhonda Vincent, and she agreed to come, and we're real fortunate. And we've kind of building everything around Rhonda Vincent. The ticket, like I said, 45 days at $45 is a limited time. It's limited time. It's first chance to get it.
And that gets you tickets all week.
That's right.
Right. And so do you wear an armband or you just carry your tickets?
We'll have an armband. It'll have Rhonda Vincent on it and a mule head.
I like
it. It's a blue armband. It's Rhonda's favorite color.
I hope you're going to have a mule head on your hat before long.
Oh, yeah. I've got hats that's got mules on
If you ever know what a mule is, you're going to love this show. I mean, I grew up riding a mule, so I guess other people did that too. And it's very exciting to me to think that you've gone to all this massive trouble to bring something I think that's going to just last and rage through the ages.
Well, Peggy, we expect about 100 mule classes.
Wow.
So there'll be an American Gaited Mule Association's World Show, and they have 40 classes. NASMA, the quarter mule, will have 40 classes. And we have 2 trail courses, and we have the halter class, and we'll have pulling.
And so how do you get that many mules in one place?
Well, the Celebration Ground has about 2,000 stalls.
Because we didn't tell people actually where it was.
Calsonic Arena, and the Celebration in Shelbyville, Tennessee. And we have 350 campsites and 2,000 stalls. We can accommodate a lot of people, and we're expecting you can fill out the application online and mail it to me.
And I'm sure there'll be food trucks around,
yes,
and you can bring your trailer. Can you bring a trailer? And
the living trailer, we have 350 campsites, so they can camp.
That's great.
Yeah.
What fun that would be to come and stay a week.
Right.
And do it all.
And there'll be craft vendors as well.
Exactly.
So please don't forget the craft vendors and real crafts.
Right.
All American made.
Crafts.
Right.
That's one of my favorite things. Everything about this show or this festival is American made.
Exactly.
Nothing is allowed in that's not American made.
Right. One of the highlights we're going to have, a friend of mine bought what they call an Athens ice cream maker. It's a 9 degrees ramp where the horse walks on a conveyor belt and it churns ice cream over.
Ice cream.
Right. And he can make ice cream in 10 minutes.
You know, I have great memories of the mules making molasses or
churning.
I don't know if you remember that. You're too young to remember that, but that was a big deal when I was a little kid.
Well, we're going to have ice cream at this festival.
And it's going to be done with the mules.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Erica, you going?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be there Thursday and the whole week.
Are you looking for a few volunteers to help you out?
We are. We need as many volunteers as we can get. You don't have to be a horse person. You don't have to be a mule person. You don't have to have any experience with any of that. We can have people opening gates. We can have people working concessions. We can have people working for admission tickets. Whatever you can do, whatever times you can do, please just go to the website and sign up or give one of us a call. Like I said, we're for horseplay, and so we're taking volunteers.
Do you also screen the people a little bit that come to help?
Typically, yeah.
Find out what they're able to do, and
yes, yep.
You don't want somebody that just might be a criminal.
Yes, we definitely have. We've had to weed out some people, but no, it's been a great. It's just we have a great basis for volunteers with all of our charities, all 5 of us, and so we're hoping to just grow from that. And if anybody wants to get involved, just give us a call.
Do you want to mention the other charities?
I do.
Let's mention the other charities.
The Boys and Girls Club of Shelbyville is a big participant of this. They're one of the 5.
Good.
The Tuesday night soup kitchen that my son hosts on Tuesday night in Shelbyville is a big popular item in Shelbyville because they clothe a lot of people and they feed a lot of people.
That's wonderful.
So he's part of that. Horseplay, and we've got Habitat for Humanity of Bedford County.
Yeah,
there's another one. And then one of the biggest is the Center for Family Development. They focus on the whole family, the children and the parents, and that's
is that a multi-county thing?
Right. It is. Benita Caldwell is our contact, and she's been working with us. And
I'm so impressed with the fact that you have obligated yourself to give to this wonderful adventure. And I thought the audience might enjoy knowing what it was that made you decide to do this in the middle of the pandemic.
Right, yeah. February the 15th, if everybody remembers, it was ice storm and snow and hard to get out, and people couldn't go because either you were sick or the ice or snow.
Right.
And I woke up that morning and I'd been listening to the news and frustrated with the way things were going, not really trusting what was being told on the news and this and that. So I just got frustrated. I said, listen, this is not doing anybody any good, me getting upset. So I just went out to Walmart and bought a laptop, and I started typing and came back and read some scripture, Matthew 21:21, and it gave me the faith and courage to go forward, and I set this into action here from February the 15th to now.
I think it's awesome, and you haven't stopped working on it.
That's right, night and day.
You've collected some really interesting people. I mean,
I have.
It's amazing how many people you've already collected, but I know you need a lot more.
I do.
You need a lot of volunteers.
I do.
I think it'd be fun for the volunteers.
Exactly.
I think they'll just have a good time.
Right.
And if you can't volunteer your time, I mean, we're always looking for sponsorships. We need class sponsors. We need day sponsors. There's so many opportunities for.
So you're taking money anytime somebody wants to hand it out, right?
Right.
It'll go to a good cause for a good reason.
We want to help them advertise their company name or whatever it is and get them involved in this in a partnership. And we plan to have this event next year as well. So this is not just the first one and only.
Tell them about your long wagon train.
So next year we're building up to the world's longest wagon train. It's going to take about 400 plus wagons. And we plan to have 100 bluegrass bands playing in those 400 wagons.
That's amazing.
And this is going to be
Are you looking for people to call in and sign up with a wagon?
There will be an application to apply to put your wagon into this event. Next year, 2022, we're having a 2-day wagon train this year. Tuesday and Wednesday, it'll be a wagon train. It'll go from Shelbyville to War Trace and back, Shelbyville to Bellbuckle and back. That's on Tuesday and Wednesday of this year.
But next year,
we want to have, it'll be about 5 miles long. We get 400 wagons together. It'll go in a horse mountain area in Shelbyville, up and down and back to the celebration grounds. We've got to set the requirements for next year by this September.
Yeah.
And we hope we'll set that record. It'll be never broken again, and it'll be a once in a lifetime chance for people that have wagons and mules or horses and wagons and want to get involved in it.
I love that you're honoring the mules. The mules have done a lot to get this country going.
That's right.
And they're still giving back.
That's exactly
They've
right.
Always been giving their all. Well, let's reiterate on the time and the date and the price and before we have to go.
Okay. So it's September the 13th through the 18th. Check in on the 13th, and the events start from Tuesday to Saturday. We have 5 bluegrass bands and 5 charities and 5 mule shows going on in these 5 days and nights. It'll really start from 9 and it'll go to 9 to night. 9 a.m. in the morning to 9 at night.
All day long.
Right. And it's a festival, so we want people to enjoy it and have fun, and we have good food. We're looking forward to it, and it's at the Calsonic in the Shelbyville, Tennessee Walking Horse National Celebration Grounds is where it's at, in Shelbyville.
Write this website down and the phone number. Marty gave you his phone number, which took a lot of nerve.
That's okay.
You
Give me
may
a call.
be getting a lot of calls. I'm so glad you guys came. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you,
and
Peggy.
thank you, Erica. Love you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back with some stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up
with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senior. See? Martin Senior. Right there. Martin Senior at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Good morning, all you fine folks in TV land, and thank you, John, for that introduction. Good morning, Dot, and good morning, camera ladies. Good to see y'all fit and ready to roll this morning. You know, Tullahoma is a great, great place to live and work and have fun. And I mentioned work. One of the things that I'd like to share with you this morning is about some of our industries, the early industries. And in just a few moments, why we can't cover them all, but we're going to touch on one or two of the early ones. For example, one of the earliest industries in Tullahoma, it's sad to say, is not in operation now. I think it ceased operations a year or two ago, but a place called the Klondike. Now, old timers know where the Klondike is and what they did, but for the people that like to know the background of industries and work in Tullahoma, it was the Camel and Dan Lumber Company between North Atlantic and North Washington Street. It backs up to the railroad in front of Clyde Smith's Wholesale, and the Empire Gas Company is across the railroad from it. The long, long tin building that you see there, and it had a big steam plant there that operated all the big machinery there. And the first products of the Camel and Dan, and by the way, Mr. M.R. Camel Sr. was one of the founders of Tullahoma and the industrial park here, or part of course that wasn't a park, but big industrial plant that hired several hundred people that worked there and made a contribution to Tullahoma. And the first products there were wagon wheels and wagon spokes and wagon rims that made it possible for the buggy manufacturing company to operate and have those fine products to make their vehicles and their buggies. And later, when automobiles made the wooden framework for them at that time, and as time went on, they made hardwood flooring from oak and other types of wood. A lot of oak in this area. A lot of oak came down from the Sparta and McMinnville area to the Klondike, where they made hardwood flooring, and that was a big industry. They had a big kiln out there where they cured the lumber and the wood for their products. Later they made chairs and parts for chairs, and even sent bulk wood to the furniture industry in High Point and other places in North Carolina. But it's a big, big industry here. And there's plastics and metals came on, and computerized machinery began to be used. And then Cameron Dam began to cease operations and slow down. Well, that was one of the big, big industries in Tullahoma. Then one of the industries that came here pre-World War I was the Lanham Manufacturing Company, which is today Worth Sports, that was located on West Lincoln Street, just this side of the Rock Creek Bridge there on the left. And the picture that I hold in my hand is a picture that was made in 1933 of Mr. Graw and Tut Farm and the Hydes and the Racklers and all those fine people that operated the tannery there. It was a tannery first. They brought hides in from South America and all over the United States, horse hides and cow hides, where they would tan them and shave all the hair and wool off those hides and cut them and let them cure. Then they cut out baseball and softball covers, and that was the Lanham Tannery there. In 1934, they rebuilt and have a 3 or 4 story brick building there, and they modernized. And the ladies that sewed the covers on the ball were on the top floor. The tannery part was on the bottom floor. And I mentioned a week or two ago about the elevators. I think this building had the second elevator in Middle Tennessee. It was a freight elevator. But other early industries was Tennessee Overall Company and the 400 block of North Atlantic Street that employed many, many people. They made bib overalls and overall jumpers for a long, long time. And then during World War II, they made uniforms for the armed forces. And one final little story about the Klondike was that they operated with a big steam boiler out there, and with coal and mainly scrap wood. And the man that operated the boiler out there had a watch, and they blew the whistle, and we missed that whistle. He blew a whistle at 6:30 every morning for everybody to get up, at 7 o'clock to go to work, at 12:30 a break for lunch, and blew the whistle at 3:30 for the end of the work day. And then he set his watch by going by Mr. Book's jewelry store and looking in the window to see what time it was, and he set his watch. Well, he blew his whistle by his watch. Several years later, the whistleblower and Mr. Book met, and Mr. Book said, "I sure am glad to meet you, because I set my watch in the window by hearing the whistle blow out of the Klondike." And so they got to be good friends and never were off very far. And I'm going to tell you some more about the industry as time goes on, so you be sure and be listening, and y'all have a nice day.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please Help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, we're back, and wow, we're off-centered, aren't we? That's okay. that's George and Lillian sitting over there.
That's okay.
And
I'm a little off-center most of the time.
Our
thank you, Philip.
our little helper, Mr. Todd's not here today. So we hope he's all right.
Hope he's okay, yeah.
I'm sure he is. Hey, we just want to remind you, it's Veterans Month. Memorial Day's coming up. Thank you to our veterans, all they do, all they have done,
and all they continue to do. That's right.
And a government that supports them. Please make sure that the people you vote for, the representatives, senators, or whoever they are, supports the military. Without them and the police, it's going to be a rough time.
I agree.
You know?
Yes, I do.
See you, sweet. Next
Bye.
time. All right? See you next time, folks.